Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video.
My wife, 35 female, cheated on me 34 male, and then cried while deleting her AP contact information. I have never felt more broken or pathetic in my life. In essence, it is exactly what the title says. She joined a gym early this year in order to lose the extra weight she had acquired during Christmas and New Year's. She has been working out since then. She has made friends with the trainer, 56M, there, and she claims that he inspires her to work even harder after just a few days of training with him. The fact that he was my wife's age gave me the impression that he was acting as a mentor to her. They eventually began conversing on social media sites such as Instagram and WhatsApp, among other things. In part because she works as a trader at a financial institution, which is a demanding business, she began spending more time on her phone and became less forthcoming about her phone habits. I ascribed her increased stress to her increasing workload, which I thought was a good thing. About 2 weeks ago, I received a Facebook message from someone claiming to have evidence that my wife is having an affair with another guy. I immediately deleted the post. As a result, I put that person, who turned out to be her wife's friend, in the group. The woman came to me and told me that she had received text messages on her husband's phone showing that he and my wife were having a full-fledged emotional affair and were making plans to rent a hotel room, as well as that he was discussing things he wanted to do with my wife. Besides that, she told me that she had received messages on her husband's phone informing her that he and my wife were having a full-fledged emotional affair and that they were making arrangements to rent a hotel room, as well as that he was planning to leave the country. Being taken aback would be an underestimate of the reality in this situation. I returned to her home and questioned as to whether she was having an EA with the guy from the gym. She said she was not. After asking whether she was certain he was only a friend, she said definitely. I was skeptical at first. When I received a good answer, I got back in my vehicle and drove away, having made plans to stay at a hotel for the night. As a result, I switched off my phone and retired to bed. When I woke up the next morning, I had 80 missed calls and hundreds of messages waiting for me on my phone, which I had not yet answered. So I phoned her up again and questioned as to whether or not she was ready to be open about her situation. The woman agreed with a nod of her head. As soon as I returned home, she admitted to having an emotional relationship with the individual, but she said that she would never have contact with him, which was why she had been putting off his offer of a hotel stay for many months before. She pleaded for another opportunity and vowed to herself that she would never make the same mistake again in her life. She also surrendered her phone and social media login information. It was clear from the texts I read that they had not yet engaged in any physical connection, and that he was pushing it while my wife was muted in her reaction, but she was also not shutting it off. There were also a few films and images included in the package. In order to avoid entirely damaging the relationship, I reasoned that it wouldn't hurt to undergo marriage counseling. In our first marriage counseling session, our counselor asked some basic questions, such as whether she had given me full access to her phones and social media accounts, whether she had deleted the AP contact information from her phones, and whether she had banned him from her social media accounts. I was taken away and looked at her with admiration when she said that she had done none of these things. Upon my plea that she keep him off the property, she complied, but only after weeping. I was utterly stunned at this point, wondering if she was genuinely crying while blocking the person she was cheating on me with as I sat there and did absolutely nothing. The impression that I was experiencing an out-of-body experience and that I was observing myself sobbing while blocking my wife's access point was quite real to me at that time. I'd never seen anything quite like that in my whole life. I'd entirely lost faith in my own ability to succeed. Even though the relationship was unofficial, the sensations were very genuine, according to MC, who explained it to me as an affair fog. At that point, I had lost not just my wife's respect, but also my own esteem for my own awful self, which was a terrible feeling. It was a horrifying sight to see her sobbing over his death. So I requested her to end the session and informed my wife that I was going to get a hotel room and reflect about our future together. Then I was on the edge of racing out of the room to avoid being caught. So I went on Reddit and asked whether or not my marriage might be saved as a result of the reaction I received. Is it better for me to abandon ship and leave the country? Story 2. My friend, 29 male, has been cheating on his wife, 31 female, and this other woman just gave birth to his child. However, I do not believe I should be the one to tell his wife about this. I, a 32-year-old male, have a coworker with whom I have a cautious working relationship out of necessity. Among other things, his propensity to speak absolute about everyone he knows behind their backs tremendously frustrates me, and as a result, I don't extend our friendship outside the workplace. His wife, with whom he has been married for over 6 years, is by far his favorite person to do this to. They are both troubled folks, and their relationship has had its ups and downs from the beginning. To be honest, they both have troubles. He is his wife and the mother of their children. Thus, I feel she is entitled to basic respect from him, which he has never shown her and will not show her in the future. It makes me feel really disgusted. He stopped by my apartment the other day after his work shift. We aren't on the same one right now, which was kind of him. After a long period of silence, we were just catching up on what had been going on in our respective lives. He was interested in knowing that my wife and I are expecting our first child together. I told him that we were expecting a child. It is his response that I find revolting. I've always desired a man, but I've been plagued by females. This is a comment that I find repulsive in and of itself. What about the females, by the way? Plural, yeah. He suddenly confessed to me that he had been seeing another woman behind his wife's back for quite some time, and that she had given birth to his child only a few months before he came out to me about it, another daughter. The way he said it, it seemed like he was talking about what he ate for breakfast or something equally unimportant. In addition, he said that if their wife finds out about the situation, they will be divorced. He went on to explain that if she finds out, they will be divorced. According to him, I am the first person to be notified of this development. No one else is aware of this. My wife was ill at the time, so she was in bed downstairs and could not hear this conversation. Knowing his wife, I am certain that he is telling the truth about his remarks. I know she will not welcome him back after this experience. I find him to be quite repulsive, and my heart breaks for this woman. She and her child are entitled to a much higher standard of living. If she finds out, he continues, clearly meaning that he wants to keep her in the dark about the situation for the foreseeable future. After considerable thinking, I feel I have come to the conclusion that I will not be the one to notify her about the situation. I feel like I already have too much on my plate, and I don't want to be a part of any of this drama or the obvious implications that will follow as a result of the situation. A fight between him and me that may spill over into our workplace and jeopardize my career is definitely something I do not want. But more significantly, I do not want it to have any negative effect on my pregnant wife or bring her further stress. I believe my course of action is by far the safest for myself and my family, but I am troubled by the fact that I believe I am promoting his deception by agreeing to aid in keeping this woman in the dark about her husband's horrible betraying her trust. I'm also worried about her physical well-being. Clearly, he is having unprotected relations with at least one other woman, if not more. This poses a serious threat to her health, and she should be made aware of the situation. Consider the scenario in which she gets pregnant once again. If she had a transmitted infection, STI, that she was not aware of, her child would be in great danger. In this particular instance, I'm not sure what the right course of action is. I'm not going to lie. I truly don't.